difficult for a victim to extricate herself from the victim's autonomy and her independence. The victim often feels that she can't say no, and it erodes the victim's autonomy and it erodes her sense of privacy. She doesn't feel that wherever she can go, that somewhere he's not going to be. One of the myths that people say, well, if she was sexually assaulted by her partner. So what women do is they bury it. They continue to reach out for the kind and the loving man. The fear level in a victim that she may modify her behavior quicker, and he might not need to use physical violence because he's already established that that fear is there. So it makes her feel not secure in her movement, feeling that she has to restrict her movement. Her movement is not hers alone, that the gentleman feels that he can possess her and that he can have her whenever he wants. The woman's forced to refute the accusation. She's trying to prove, I didn't do what you said, this didn't. Sometimes it escalates because the man is not taking the no for an answer. A woman doesn't get into a relationship with a man who's beating her up and sexually assaulting her and calling her names and doing all that. She gets into the relationships for all the right reasons. You're back to sort of the loving man that you wanted. Pretty difficult for the victim of the abuse to sort of extricate herself from that relationship, and for her to even believe, frankly, that takes a lot of time to even believe that she can and that she should. That the only person who can change the abuse is the abuser. So no matter what the tactics that the woman uses, she's trying to do all these different things to fix him, to have him not be violent, to have him not be sexually violent, to have him not be obsessively jealous. And all those things don't change his behavior because it's up to him to change his behavior. And the problem is that the woman continues to think that she can fix it, and yet she can't. But she's the one who's then rendered sort of helpless and hopeless because everything that she's trying to do is failing. That apprehension, he may be throwing his papers on the table a little more. He may be slamming the fridge door a little more. He may be mumbling under his mouth a little more. He may grab a glass a little more forcefully than he normally is. Behavior. It's not like typically the man is taking full responsibility for what he did. How can I be with this man who hurts me, and yet I love him so much? Where the man is trying to make those amends, and then it gets the woman hooked, such that women use verbal and physical acts of aggression. And a woman may yell at her partner because she's angry. She can also be afraid. She gets hit if she does yell. She gets hit if she doesn't yell. So for women who feel at certain moments that they need to, so it doesn't mean that she's not afraid and that she's not concerned about the violence. And it doesn't mean she doesn't also use placate. One of the times when he's physically violent is when he's been consuming drugs or alcohol. When he's not consuming drugs and alcohol and he's not violent, those other behaviors. Talk about what do women do? That's the question that everyone wants to know. Why doesn't she just leave? And in asking that question, why doesn't she just leave, we actually are able to say, well, let me tell you what she does do. And what the research shows is women do a lot of things in that process, the formal things that she does. Strategies that women can use. Trying to get him to go to counseling, try to get him to go to church, try to get him to understand his ways, try to get him to get into AA, compliance with his demands, anticipating his demands. Many women do not want to call the police hand, and she feels unsafe. And the only way that she feels, I stay for the loving man, they stay for the man who's kind, they stay for the man that they've decided to marry. Bear it out. The most dangerous time for a woman is when she's leaving that relationship. Her likelihood of being killed grows. Staying keeps her safe. A woman decides to stay in it doesn't mean she's unconcerned about the violence. It's just she hasn't figured out a way out. You don't want to leave him. You've connected with him. Maybe he's not going to drink today. Maybe it's going to be on his good side. Maybe he's going to come home and not disappear for 3 days. Continuing the myths, certainly are that women are meek, are passive, are, just sitting there and letting the abuse happen, that women don't fight back, that women don't yell back, that if it was really bad, she really would have left. If it was really bad, she really would have told the police.